USA International Speedway, last hosted the race in 2008 before being torn down and Lakeland, Florida in 2012. However, the spirit of this three-quarter of a mile oval lives on in the realms of iRacing in the virtual world, and tonight, the fourth season of the iRacing Northwest Tour, brought to you by Joe's Racing Products, kicks off at USA International Speedway for the Live Life Generic 125, live on its new home, LSR TV, your home for racing, and CRN Sports, live for audio only. Hi everybody, I'm Greg Rentz. Welcome to Lakeland, Florida virtually for tonight's race here for the iRacing.com Northwest Tour, brought to you by Joe's Racing Products. Joining me both in the announcer's booth and in the production truck is Charles Wooten, and we've got the Joe's Racing Products pit reporter down on pit road, Wesley Outland, covering all the action from pit road for this highly anticipated 125 lap feature race. Charles, we had one heck of a field tonight. 63 of the best of the Northwest took a qualifying time. We have narrowed it down to 24 drivers hit the green for this 125 lap race, brought to you by Live Life.
Yeah, definitely have there. As you can see, of course, your race information brought to you by Race on Texas. Won't be a quite 30-minute practice. They are going to advance it here shortly. You see there, as everyone can see, C and B main. Of course, we're not running those. Those have already been run, taken care of. But like you said, 125 lap race. And of course, you'll have a full details of those rundown of the C and B main in the post-race wrap-up on LSR TV or LiveSimRacingTV.com here in just a little bit.
And Charles, with 63 cars taking a qualifying time, it was a difficult task to get this down to the final 24 cars. We had full fields in both the 40-lap C main and the 60-lap B main. The C main actually had to go to a time limit expiration on a 20-minute time limit. It was Matt Hackathorn getting the win in that, a former A main winner in this series. He had to race his way in through the C main. It was Dylan Huffines leading all 60 laps in the B main to lock himself. Now it's the big hoorah here, Charles. 24 drivers going for 125 laps here at USA International Speedway.
Yeah, 125 laps. I don't think it'll take too long. Theoretically, anyway, it shouldn't take too long to get around this track. So we'll definitely be seeing. But, something we have to talk about. We don't have point standings to go over here tonight yet. We will next week. But like you said, 63 drivers, narrowed it down to 24. And, we're going to use the word tap out a lot here. We are not talking about wrestling or MMA or anything like that when we refer to tap out. These guys are on an honor system with a little bit of a twist. There's an honor system with a penalty system as well on top of that. So if you cause a wreck and you tap out per se, you say, okay, I made the mistake, this is mine, you get a lesser penalty. You don't claim it, you're at fault, and your day just got worse.
It'll go to the review board after the race. Every single caution goes to the review board. If you tap out, that's it. No more further questions asked. You take the EOL and you're off the hook. However, if you have to tap out twice, then your night is over and you're parked for the race. If you do not tap and after the race, the review board finds that you are responsible for that caution and you tap, post-race penalties will be assessed. Want to turn it down to pit road, and our Joe's Racing Products pit reporter Wesley Outland down on pit road. And Wesley, 125 laps the distance tonight, but pit road could be very busy because this is super late model short track racing, very close quarter racing. A lot of body panels going to be flared up here tonight. What are you expecting to see down here on pit road?
Yeah, right you are. Good evening to everybody from the virtual USA International Speedway on LSR TV and CRN Sports. And we'll put the tail of the tape for you here when they come down to the pit lane. It's plain and simple. No tires in this 125-lap slugfest. But we got a feeling that 63 cars narrowed down to 24 of the best, we're still going to rack them and stack them and crash them and bash them. And when they come down to the pit lane, they're going to have to give repairs. We're going to give you descriptions of how badly damaged these machines are and what they're going to have have to do to get back through the race to get back and have a shot to win this event. You know, normally when I cover the Northwest Trucker Cup Series on Monday and Thursday night on LSR TV and CRN Sports, normally I'm talking about tires and fuel and track bar and wedge and all the other crazy things. But among this series for the Northwest Tour, I'll be covering the damage. I'll grab interviews along the way. It might be pretty heated a time or two because these drivers have literally just had that virtual wreck taking them out of a shot to going the victory lane. It should be an exciting time at USA International. This track is a very special place for me, Greg, because when I used to announce with the Hooters Pro Cup Series with the great Gene Crane, the last 2 seasons of their finale, I had the privilege to be down at Lakeland, Florida. This is an awesome race. Glad to see it living on iRacing. I'll have the coverage of the craziness that will be here on Pit Road tonight.
And drivers have been told perhaps a $25 bonus to the most animated interview in the middle of the race. I want to talk a little bit, Charles, about a track here in the Northwest that a lot of comparisons have been drawn to this track. It's 3/4 of a mile here in Lakeland, Florida, but this track has drawn many comparisons to a track very near and dear to my heart, just 25 miles from my driveway, Spokane County Raceway in Airway Heights, Washington. The track that I became a track announcer, my first ever announcing, was at that track. Wesley talked about Southern National was his, where he started his broadcasting career. Spokane County was mine. And this track, while Spokane County is a half mile compared to the 3/4 of a mile we will race today, identical layout to that track, and a lot of drivers compared this track to that half mile in Airway Heights, Washington. It closed down in 2018, 10 years after USA International ran their last race. We're still hopeful that that track can come back to life and host racing again, but for these drivers, this is a home game for them because a lot of drivers compare this to Spokane.
Yeah, we'll definitely be comparing it to tracks. You know, where I got my start was iRacing, and apparently I wasn't very good because they didn't let me go further. But we'll see how we do tonight. But there you see, there is no qualifying. That's already been done. It is time, of course, to get right into the grid for all of this, and they're already on track. It's a very short track, Greg. So as always, you know, we like to do it 2 by 2. We'll let you start it off as let's go through your starting grid. Only 24 out of 63 gonna make it here tonight.
24 out of 60 cars, and remember it was a 16-car invert, which meant 16th place qualifier Paul Ross in the number 85 will be on the pole, with Gary Smith rolling off outside front row, with row number 2 being made up of the defending Northwest Snowball Derby champion Shane Quinn and Scott Mann, winner of the B-League race on Friday night. We'll talk more about that later.
Yeah, Scott Mann, someone we got to watch. He's always fast in that 90 machine. Row 3 going to be Joey Bird in the 24 and Isaiah Gill in the 14. And again, of course, Greg knows these guys a little bit better than I do. We'll get to know him. Casey Garber, everybody knows him in the 96. And Ryan Gormley in the 44, rounding out your 8th spot in row 4.
Ryan Gormley second in points last year as a rookie with 2 wins on the season. Chris Carroll was fastest in final practice in the number 97, making his debut. Always have to watch the Rocket Racing entry of Bart Hector Jr. in the number 82. He starts 10th. The female driver in the field is Ellie Musgrave, a top 5 qualifying effort for her, with Nick Bellamy starting in 12th. Cody, they're already rolling, so we're just going to keep going here with the starting lineup. Travis Barnes in the 8 will be rolling off in 14th, with Seth Frazier, your defending champion, in 14th. Garrett Huff finds fast time Caden Anderson 16th. Dylan Huff finds Garrett Sisk, Ryan Worley, BJ Titterick, Travis McKinney, and Sean Brightsman race their way in through the B main. Christopher Heim and Josh Robinson were your provisionals. 1 to green, and Wesley, real quick, you have pole sitter Paul Ross.
I do for round number 1 of the Northwest Tour. Paul Ross on the invert of 16 cars. How's it feel? You're about to bring the field to the green flag here tonight at USA.
Pretty exciting. It's been a while since I've been in the car, so hopefully we can keep it in one piece and put on a good show for everybody watching.
63 drivers dwindled down to 24 of the best virtual kaleidoscope of colors, and now it's time to see what they can do in the fraternal order of Go Fast of iRacing. Greg Rentz, it's time for the iRacing Northwest Tour presented by Joe's Racing Products.
Thank you, Wesley. And as they come through turn 3 and 4, race fans wipe the visor, adjust the 5-point harness, because it is showtime with the iRacing.com Northwest Tour. Let's kick some asphalt. Paul Ross out of Spokane, Washington leads the opening 2 laps here of Season 4 for the Northwest Tour, brought to you by Joe's Racing Products. And he's begun to open it up just a little here, Charles, over second place Gary Smith. Keep your eyes on Shane Quinn in that number 4. 3 wins last year, including the full-length Northwest Snowball Derby, which was run on the same day as the actual Snowball Derby. Same thing going on this year. Shane Quinn, the defending champion of that race, so keep your eyes on him. Scott Mann into number 90 and Isaiah Gill, they sit 4th and 6th. They finished 1-3 in the B League race on Friday night here at USA in the street stocks. It was Ellie Musgrave who jumped around Isaiah Gill at the end to finish 2nd here. Second-year driver Ryan Gormley in the 44, riding in the 7th spot right now with Casey Garber 8th. Then you find Bart Hector Jr. in the 82 trying to track down Chris Carroll, with Travis Barnes up there in the 11th spot. I think he's sorting out single file here early, Charles.
Yeah, they're sorting it out a lot faster than we saw in the B and C main. You know, we had a lot of incidents happening there. Not so much here. They're going to smooth, clean, and green here, 6 laps in. And, you know, these are why these guys are the best of the best. 24 of the best drivers in the Northwest and, of course, in the late models here. So, you know, there's a reason that these guys are in here and they made it in. And then I'm going to be interesting to see people like we talked about earlier. Sean Brightsman back in this 46 machine, you know, well back in the field. He's usually a favorite to win in the Northwest Cup and Truck Series. I'm not going to say he's not, but he's definitely not where we're used to seeing him at.
No, only 1 career victory in the Joe's Racing Products, iRacing.com Northwest Tour for Sean Brightson. That came back in Season 2 at Richmond as he sails it in there, getting into Caden Anderson. And Caden Anderson has a lot of damage on the 37 car. That was your pole sitter, or fast time setter, excuse me, in that number 37 car. We'll see if we can get a look at the right side of that car, because there is a lot of damage on the quick time Harvest Chevy of Caden Anderson. Let's see if we go on board with him. Single file right now, but a lot of damage. You can see it there on the hood of the number 37 as they sail off there into turn number 1. So problems early, Charles, for your quick time setter, Caden Anderson.
Yeah, and right there, a little bit of issue for the driver in front of him. That is Ryan Worley in the 70. A little bit of maybe a connection, or either spun the tires a little bit. You saw some smoke there. Could have got a little loose as well. But you're going to see these cars get looser and looser throughout the night. And you're going to see some potential issues happening as we go back up to the front here. It is the longest, you know, late model Congo line I've ever seen here on iRacing, to say the least. But, you know, when are you going to start making your moves to get to the front? These guys know they can't press any issues, and this is the only league that I've ever seen here, Greg, that you actually have to send in your tires when it's done. And, of course, we'll let you elaborate a little bit on how they do that.
We'll elaborate just as soon as we talk to our Joe's Racing Products pit reporter. Wesley Allen has an update on Sean Brightsman.
Yeah, you guys were talking earlier about the man of the 46 machine, one of the star machines in the Northwest iRacing Cup and Truck Series. By the way, round 2 tomorrow night for the West Bay Napa Auto Parts playoffs from Watkins Glen for the Cup Series. Sean Brightsman, I spoke with him, with his crew just a few moments ago, and they said, you know, Wesley, running the Cup and the Truck Series is so much different compared to running these supercars. Strategy strategy right now, because normally we can come to the pits, we can take on tires, we can take on fuel. With this race, you can't. It's 125 laps. It's a bull ring around here at USA International. So right now, my strategy is to hang back, hope I stay out of trouble. Hopefully I missed the big one. Yes, he even emphasized the big one here at short track racing, and try to be there at the end. Right now, the number 46 currently up to 19th in the pink number 46. And by the way, even though it is officially November 1st, a lot of these drivers, Greg Rentz, are donning pink for Breast Cancer Awareness Month.
Yeah, still running those pink cars, and a lot of them on the wheels, which is on those tires that we were talking about there, Charles. What this league does, no tire changes are allowed. Much like your normal super late model race, 125 laps, typically 4-tire race. There are bigger races where you can have 6 tires and even 8 tires, but for this one, 4 tires all the way. So what you meant by sending in your tires after the race, these drivers will actually have to take a screenshot of their tire wear and send them into race officials to say, hey, this is my proof. I did not change my tires at any point during the race. So that is this series' version of post-race tech. We have a battle for the lead breaking out now as Gary Smith to the inside of Paul Ross. Shane Quinn out of Spokane lurking right there as Gary Smith trying to get a nose in front. He will take the lead. Paul Ross led the first 17 laps, but on lap number 18 of 125, give it to Gary Smith. He now leads at USA, bringing Shane Quinn with him. Keep your eyes on Joey Bird as well. Birdman in this field right now. He's in 4th right now as he's gotten around Scott Mann. Also making his way through the field is Ryan Gormley, the Montana driver, 2nd in points last year, Charles, as a rookie. Something very, very impressive for a field, especially of this caliber. And I mean, 63 drivers took a qualifying time here. We had a 24-car C main, which was won by Matt Hackathorn. Oh, we got problems. Scott Mann in the wall, and he collects Ryan Gormley. They all stay green. Garber able to get around on the outside in the number 96, but comes Gormley down to the bottom. He's going to get the spot back and get together with Scott Mann, but you can see some damage on that number 90 from the hit to the wall.
Yeah, and we were wondering kind of when they were really going to kind of ramp this thing up. Yeah, they were saying single file, and it's like that, the switch got flipped in their heads there and said, I got to go. I got to get to the front. Again, I think you needed to get to the front as quickly as you could. When these tires wear out, you're not going to be able to make the moves you can right now. 22 laps in, you can probably still make some moves. The longer you get into this run, the more these tires wear out, the less you're going to be able to make moves. The more positions you're going to gain are going to be based on somebody else making a mistake. And, well, we saw maybe a few mistakes in that first C and B main. I haven't seen too many here tonight. Again, the cream of the crop here in this feature race per se, since we did have a C and B main.
The setup starts out loose, Charles, and then as the race progresses, it'll gradually get tighter and tighter and tighter. Making moves right now are 2 drivers who are always threats to win here in the iRacing.com Northwest Tour, sitting 8th and 9th right now. The 82 of Bart Hector Jr. out of Ephrata, Washington, and then Olympia's Travis Barnes in the number 8 right behind them. Hector Jr., 3 wins on the tour. They all came back in Season 1. Bart Hector Jr. has not won on the iRacing.com Northwest Tour since 2018 calendar year. Early in that year, Travis Barnes won 3 races last year, most recently at Lane Year in a season that he looked very strong. Unfortunately, missed some races due to some other obligations. Otherwise, he would have been able to make a run at Seth Frazier for that championship in this one. Speaking of Frazier, your defending champion, started 14th on the invert. He's up to 11th, up 3 spots already. Behind him, we have a battle between Garrett Huffines in the number 42 and Ellie Musgrave, the female driver in the field. They both qualified very well. Huffines actually was second quick behind his Yakima brethren, Caden Anderson. Speaking of Garrett Huffines' brethren, his actual brother, Dylan Huffines, sits right behind this battle in 14th position as Musgrave breaks a little bit loose now into number 23. Charles, 2 years ago, Garrett and Dylan were 1 and 2 in this race in the early stages, got together in turn number 1, cost them both the race, and it was quite interesting in the Huffines household for a couple of days after that, and it actually saw Dylan Huffines, the younger brother, needing a new ride to school the next day because Garrett said, "You ain't getting a ride with me tomorrow. You can just cost me a win."
Well, there you have it. You know, rivalries happen, especially in households. They're definitely big. And I want to mention, we're setting a lot of records here tonight. This is by far the most drivers we have had enter a race that we've covered here on LSR TV. And I had to look that up. That was not a dirt race. Of course, we do the payout races. We'll have 120 drivers. This is the most on a, a non-paid entry race. So we've never had the 63 drivers enter a race. So that is very impressive. And also, we don't have them all in here yet, but we've had the most drivers send in headshots for this one that we'll be getting into the overlays here next week. So a lot of big things happening here. And, I typically don't talk about the chat too terribly much, but 76 fans out there watching for these guys. I want to know where everybody's watching from right now.
I do too. If you're in the chat listening and watching along, comment in the chat and let us know where you're watching the season opener of the iRacing.com Northwest Tour, brought to you by Joe's Racing Products from. As you watch Gary Smith continue to click the laps away, but Snowball Derby winner and three-time winner Shane Quinn closing in for second and to take the lead. Joey Bird has also cracked the podium now. He has gotten around Paul Ross in the 85, the pole sitter. Scott Mann, though, going the wrong way on the track. He is back to 10th now in the number 90 as he has gotten passed by Travis Barnes. Next up is your defending champion, Caden Anderson. We'll see if maybe Wesley Outland can go down and check in with Scott Mann just as soon as he gives us this update on the race leader.
Yeah, I just checked in on Gary Smith and the crew on the 79 machine. They said, hey, right now everything is going good for us. We're doing exactly what we need to do. We got around the qualifier of Ross on the 16-car invert, and right now that number 79 is doing a strong run. Quinn, in the other hand, is finding a loose, tight-off center car, noticing that it's really good down the straightaway, but as he works his way to close in behind Smith for the lead, the car wants to fight, pushing down to the inside, just cannot seem to get that run with pushing up the racetrack. He's stuck down on the bottom. That's something they're going to have to work on, because adjustments can be made. You can make repairs, but you can't take on new tires. Again, that's something new on this series. You'll never hear me ever say a change of rubber for Mr. Goodyear's, as our colleague Charles Wooten always says as well. But for right now, those drivers in 1 and 2 looking good here as we approach lap 35 complete at USA International.
Lap traffic coming into effect for the first time tonight. It was Montana's Josh Robinson in the number 47. Thank you, Wesley, for that update on the top two, and we'll see if we can get you down there to the number 90 pit, Scott Mann, and see if you can figure out what all is going on the damage on the number 90 cars. He's fallen down 6 spots from here. Charles Quinn on the back bumper of Smith, but like Wesley said, not able to get a run because of the way the car has reacted thus far.
Yeah, he's just not there, and that's the most disappointing thing you can have as a racer, is to be right there on the back bumper of another driver or your competitor and not be able to get them around them. For everyone out there watching, I'm sure you were all a little kid at one time. If you weren't, then please tell me otherwise, because, we have a few questions for you. But it's like being able to see the biggest lollipop in the store you want and knowing you just don't have enough money to get it.
That's definitely a heartbreak here, Wesley, and I believe that the Joe's Racing Products pit reporter, Wesley Allen, does indeed have an update on Scott Mann.
Yeah, Scott Mann not happy, said 2 words: this is junk. My car is junk. He hit the wall, walloped it about a good 3 times. He's got some toe end issues on that number 90. You notice how I was mentioning Quinn having problems going up the racetrack. Hey, that machine of Mann not having a problem at all, and the reason why is where he bounced off the virtual concrete. He has messed up the toe end on that car. It is really loose, like driving a dump truck right now. He has fell all the way to the back, and he says, I'm waiting for a caution flag. Well, he's still in the top 12, but he says, I'm waiting for a caution flag. Hopefully, if we get one, we can make our repairs, and he is lucky as the yellow flag comes out now, gentlemen.
And
there it is.
it's
That's
going to
exactly
be
what he
the
needed.
70 of Ryan Worley being involved in it, as he has got significant damage and off pace. That's a tall tale sign, Greg, that you were involved in a caution, as we take a look to see what happened with the swag replay here. And we'll go back just a little bit further as he took a trip in the grass.
Let's see, that's Brightsman and Bellamy in front of him. Ooh, some contact up there in front. Ooh, Bellamy caught the wall there going into turn number 3. Has to check up right here. That opens the door for Worley in the 70. And, oh, they get together. Bellamy hard in the wall as well. And he collects Isaiah Gill as well in the 14. So, kind of hard to say who got the worst of that one there, Charles. And we are going to have to wait and see, because for the first time all year, we are going to have a tap-out rule. And so far, it looks like Ryan Worley has tapped on the number 70, so he will take the EOL penalty. But Wesley, he talked about it right before he came down. Scott Mann is on pit road, as well as a couple of others. Pit reporter, head down there and see what's going on.
Yeah, Mann's on the pit lane. A couple of other drivers also taking on fast repairs, making what adjustments can be needed. But again, no tires changed on these cars. You know, Greg, I get the privilege to do a lot of dirt racing events as well, and it's kind of like what they do in dirt late model racing. And then, Charles, I know you can hit on this at Monarch and what you do with RaceOnTexas.com for a lot of dirt late model events and special shows, even sprint car modified events. Bottom line is they take tire samples. They take samples of the tires. Now, of course, let's be real here. I'm talking about the real deal, not virtual. But they take tire samples, and they take those tire samples back to Blue Ridge Labs in North Carolina, even where I live, in Lenoir, North Carolina, and they check the samples. They make sure it's right. If it's right, you get a thumbs up. You get your purse money. If not, you get disqualified. Well, the same thing can be said here. They can literally track and make sure by the officials of the iRacing Northwest Tour who had what tires on and what is stamped. And if it looks different than what it is at the end of the race, well then, gentlemen, that's the virtue of just having illegal tires. You're disqualified. You don't get purse pay. You don't get points. That's kind of a way to describe it virtually, and I think it's something really, really cool that the series does.
Thank you, Wesley, for that update. A little bit more on the tire rule here on the Northwest Tour. Under caution for the first time tonight, working lap number 44, make it 45 here of the Live Life Generic 125. You're watching the season opener for the iRacing.com Northwest Tour, brought to you by Joe's Racing Products, live on LSR TV, your home for sim racing, and CRN Sports, your audio home for sim racing.
Is this your car? You could take me for a ride any day. Hey, you take me for a stroll anytime. I can see you with me.
Back at Lakeland, Florida's USA International Speedway virtually here for the iRacing.com Northwest Tour, brought to you by Joe's Racing Products season opener. Gary Smith got the lead back on lap number 18, has led since then, but he's going to have to fend off for the first time as Shane Quinn on the outside. Smith with a big jump on the restart. We're back underway here at USA, and Quinn with a big run on the outside. Watch out for Birdman. Joey Bird to the inside of Quinn. Charles, it's a battle for second.
Yeah, the battle is on for second, third, fourth, fifth. This is the most stacked up we've seen them pretty much side by side the entire race. The question is, how much longer are they going to stay side by side? They were really starting to ramp it up before that caution came out, which probably led to the caution.
We have a caution as well. I believe I saw Christopher Heim, Travis McGinn, others involved.
And Bart
Hector Jr. also, the number 82 Rocket Racing entry. He's involved.
So we go back and
the
take
swag
a look.
replay, which puts us under our second swag yellow flag. Ooh, saw something there with Huffines. There in the beginning stages of that. That was a separate incident. We'll have to see what happened there.
Yeah.
As well. Oh, Frazier and Hector get together. Yikes.
Oh, and then just
boy.
a hard look. Who was that in the pink car? That is the 51 of Christopher Heim. Just nails him. As go back and take a quick look at that too real quick. Again, you're on board with the 51 and he sees it happening, doesn't think too much about it. That's the one we were talking about a second ago that happened. That one all got sorted out. He thinks he's safe. That's the worst. Then you see more smoke. He goes down low and just bam, right there, nowhere to go.
Right in the Hector. Right in the Hector. Let's see if we can also take a look at Dylan Huffines in the number 7 and see who was caught up in that with him. He's on pit road getting some damage repaired as well. So we'll send Wesley Outland down there as well. Oh, Huffines getting in it with Ellie Musgrave in the number 23. Someone else came sliding in there. That was BJ Tidrick in the 72. Musgrave and Huffines with some damage there. But they got it all sorted out there. So as the caution came out, not sure what the rule will be there as far as that goes, because that was not what brought out the caution. It was the incident with Frazier and Hector that brought out the caution, but Huffines and Musgrave getting together there. Wesley, and you have an update on
that.
Yeah,
and a lot of other drivers definitely talking things out. Hyman Moore working on getting repairs done. And remember, you only have a certain amount of repairs you can get out on the racetrack. But Dylan Huffines is on me in the number 7 machine. I got him on the in-car audio presented by Clan Wars Servers. And, Man had a big save there. Remember, Man had problems earlier, but Huffines, what's your take of everything in the 7 car, bud?
Well, on the first lap, everyone was checking up on the inside, and I had nowhere to go. I locked in my brakes at the 37 car. I know he was really pissed off about that. But on that last restart, the 23 car kind of just turned left down the straightaway and put me in the wall, so I had to go get that fixed real quick. I'm not sure exactly what she was thinking. I'm thinking she was just mad because my brother didn't give her any room, and I was getting underneath her, and she's about to get put to the back. So, I mean, this is just what happens really with single lane racing here. Everything's bottom lane, or you're going to the back. So, everyone's fighting for the bottom here. It's going to get pretty crazy.
Dylan, does it seem like it's getting a little too intense too early in the race? Would you say, being 50 laps in?
I mean, there's a point where it does, but as of now, I kind of think it is, especially lap 52. We got a long race here. Everyone's got to make it to the end, and we'll see what happens. I know there's going to be a lot more cautions.
All right, that's the thoughts of Dylan Huffines. So he'll go in the pits and make a repair and get back out there and go back to racing. But Greg, he is spicy right now. He's definitely not in a good mood.
Yeah, Huffines definitely frustrated after that one. Quick update from pit road from the tower. Bart Hector Jr. tapping on that one, claimed responsibility for that one, so he goes to the back in that one. And then number 82, after getting the damage repaired on his car, he will be 21st and the final car on the lead lap. And actually, Charles, he did not go to pit road to get the damage repaired. Still a lot of damage on the Rocket Racing entry.
Yeah, there is a ton of damage to that car as the lights are off, so we will go back to seeing the green flag. And keep in mind, we are 53 laps in of this 125 lap event, which means we're getting close to the halfway point. Not quite there yet. 72 laps to go when they take the green, which they're doing right now as the green flag does come back out. And we are racing. It's still Smith out front, but here comes Bird. He's going to take over that second spot from Quinn, and Gormley hanging in there in fourth, as it's Carroll sitting in the top 5 right now, 54 laps in.
Yeah, watch out for Joey Bird in the number 24. He's a former winner at State Line Speedway. As they battled out side by side for a second, West Allen has caught up with the pit crew on the 82.
I did. We just left the pit lane there on Bart Hector there in the 82 machine. He's all the way back outside the top 20. And he said to me the reason why with the crew they did not make this last pit stop for repairs, they got a feeling that it's not really that badly damaged, and they got a feeling there's a lot more cautions to come. That's why they did not pit this time.
Well, he's on pit road under green, so definitely not to his liking in that number 82.
Oh, yeah.
So
I'll come back to you.
What more is there? Yeah, he's on pit road now in the number 82. He might actually be calling it a night, as I'm not sure what we saw there. So Wesley's going to go down and check on Bart Hector Jr. Once again catching up with him. Joey Bird has cleared Shane Quinn for second, and Gormley second in points last year. He's gotten around Quinn as well to move up into the third spot. 24 cars took the green flag. Gormley second in points last year, started eighth, up to third. Wesley, the biggest mover, or Charles, excuse me, the biggest mover of the race. Look who's up to seventh. Our guy we see in the Cup Series, we see him in the Truck Series, always a threat. How about Sean Brightsman? Knock, knock, here he comes.
Yeah, he may have started at the back, but, Sean Brightsman, I used to think of him as, the guy that can't be beat. Coming here, he's proven that he's not necessarily the quickest, as we got a caution out, and we'll get back to that one here in a minute. As it's the 37 of your favorite driver there, Caden Anderson, back on the track, or backwards on the track.
Caden Anderson, quick time, going around there, right up towards turn number 3. Taking a look at the swag replay, and now we're starting to see this cautions that we've seen a couple times here. He's back there with Paul Ross. Here comes Garrett Sisk, his teammate, into number 1. Ooh, Anderson just catching the wall just a little bit there, coming down in front of his teammate Garrett Sisk. Wow, who was that just squeaking through? I believe that was Josh Robinson into number 32. Let's take one more look at it here from the blimp. All aerial coverage, of course, brought to you by All American Pools here, Charles.
Yeah, it is, and it was either that or the 23. We're about to find out. As you can see, the 72, the 23, and the 90, I believe that is, or the 80. Right there's that. And squeaking up, and no, you're right. Several cars just 32, just squeezing by just as quickly as they can.
Yeah, drivers involved in this one. Anderson tapping on that one, so he will take the EOL penalty. It was quick time in this qualifying session of 63 cars, and Charles Caden, before the season began, was a lot of drivers' picks for the championship here this season, and I believe Wesley has caught up with.
I have 2 updates, by the way. Bart Hector Jr. a couple of laps down, maybe even more, badly damaged on that machine. He is probably going to park it, and we've got another caution coming out for another driver that's won on the Northwest iRacing Cup and Truck Series. He's running here on the iRacing Northwest Tour, presented by Joe's Racing Products. That's Caden Anderson. Caden, you do not sound very happy. A matter of fact, I want to use some expletives that we cannot say on the broadcast professionally, but you have been mad since lap number 1. Talk about it.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on with the 7 there, but he decided he wanted to turn me on lap 1, so now I'm stuck back here riding 20th, 21st, trying to, get as many positions as I can with the beat-up car.
So you were referring to Dylan Huffines, am I correct?
Yes.
And if you remember, Greg, Huffines was mad with another female driver on the racetrack, so definitely a full moon virtual Sunday night here at USA.
Thank you, Wesley. Drivers coming down pit road, including Caden Anderson and your defending series champion Seth Frazier coming in for some more damage. No fast repairs for these cars, Wesley, so they got to get that damage repaired manually, and that's why you're seeing drivers coming down pit road several times here. So we'll see if Wesley can go down and catch up with our defending champion Seth Frazier and see what's going on with the 32 camp. Gary Smith still leading the way, but he's got a new contender up front now, Charles, as Joey Bird has cleared up into second. But keep your eyes on that driver in third. Montana's Ryan Gormley, second in points last year, 2 wins on the season, including road course victories at Laguna Seca for Ryan Gormley. Keep your eyes on him, second in points last year as a rookie.
Yeah, we have to keep an eye on him, and one thing we're going to have to keep an eye on as well is, we're starting to see these cautions breed cautions, and cautions mean, of course, tap outs. They mean people are getting, held responsible for incidents. You get too many, and, you may not be here next week to enjoy this an awesome racing that we're getting to experience.
Absolutely, Charles. We are going to a green flag. Wesley has an update on Seth Frazier. We're going to get the restart in, and then Wesley, as soon as we get to the backstretch, we'll turn it down to you as Gary Smith hits the green flag. We are back on it as he stands on the loud pedal into turn number 1, noticing single file restarts from here on out as they come through turn number 4 down to the Joe's Racing Products pit reporter, Wesley Allen, with an update on your defending champion.
Yes, Seth Frazier in 32, guys. A little minimal damage, not anything serious yet to have to do a new fast repair. But another thing you guys was talking about was, hey, it's my fault. I did this. I did it. I take blame. If they do not take blame for something and they're found that they are at fault, there's a lot more penalties that will come from post. And, of course, as you said, Charles, you hinted on earlier, there's a chance that you can be penalized, you can be suspended, you could possibly even be banned from the league for the remainder of the season, because all of these races go under a race review when the checkered flag falls. That's why we always say unofficial race results.
Thank you, Wesley. And going back to that point, these drivers are policing themselves. The review board is not made up of officials sitting in the tower. The review board is made up of 5 to 6 drivers in the field, whether it's in the C main, B main, or in this A main. These guys are policing themselves. 5 to 6 of the most trusted drivers in the circuit. They are members of the review board. The identities are to remain anonymous as to not try to get some favors in with some other drivers. But these drivers are policing themselves, and when you have your peers reviewing the race, you gotta be on guard to make sure you tap as much as you can, because that will earn you some serious penalties, like you said, Wesley, of that kind if you do not tap on this one.
Yeah, and I can tell you right now that I am not one of them, because one, I'm not in the race, and two, is Wesley, I believe, said this to me. I had told to me yesterday, and the quote from Talladega Nights, don't put that evil on me, Ricky Bobby. I would not want the job of having to decide who's at fault, and knowing, even if they don't know who you are, knowing they're going to be upset about it probably, that's not a job I want. I like just being able to say from here as the caution comes out once again, and it's going to be BJ Tidrick, unfortunately, for him, as we take a look. And whatever happened here, Greg, it looks pretty significant.
Tidrick back there with Ellie Musgrave in the 72, getting right up. Ooh, just a little bit of a tap, but Tidrick able to keep it going. You're watching the swag replay here on this one. Scott Mann, Travis McKinney, last year's Rockingham winner. Ooh, Charles. Ellie Musgrave taking a shot there into number 23, getting up into Tidrick.
Yeah, we got to go take a look here from that drone cam and see. It looked like, I'm not going to lie, we don't defend any one particular driver, but it almost looked like there was a little bit of a gap in there. That's why we love having this drone cam here by All-American Pools, so we can see exactly what happened. And here's where it happens right there. And nope, it was a shot in the shorts.
And Musgrave diving in. Wesley Allen, Joe's Racing Products Pit Repair, has caught up with BJ Tidrick.
I have been able to go through the race crew and go and catch up with the driver, the number 72 entry of BJ Tidrick, and he's definitely a little miffed at Ellie Musgrave. BJ, what's your take of what happened to the cockpit to put us under yellow flag again just before halfway?
I thought we had a pretty good little green flag run going there, and I don't know why we were jostling around about. I guess I thought we were just going to cruise, and then I got one coming up the inside. I had no idea it was coming until it was too late, and I was backwards into the fence. So it is what it is. It sucks. We had actually had picked up a lot of spots from transfer from the B main, but we still got plenty of room, plenty of time here.
Looks like your car is, just by the view that I'm seeing on my monitor on the pit lane, cattywampus, if you will, crab walking, little toe in. Looks like even the right front wheel's poked out more than the left front wheel. Can you get that repair fixed and try to get back, or do you think Ellie Musgrave is going to take the wave and say, hey, it's my fault?
No, she's already definitely back here with me, so I'll see what happens on this next round of yellows, see if I get in there, get some damage repaired. I just, it's tough here because there's not a lot of time to work on it before the car comes around to the pace car comes around to lap you. So, I don't know. All in all, I still think we have some room to play.
All right, there's the thoughts of BJ Tidrick again. Let's go back down to Greg. I think you got a point to hit on to add on to this conversation. Go ahead, my friend.
Yeah, so what you're going to see here is both Ellie Musgrave and BJ Tidrick have been given EOL penalties. So in a sense, they both tapped. Now, what BJ's doing here is, I've seen him do this before, Wesley, just in case there was something he could have done, he tapped on it as well. That is totally fine. Both drivers can tap. Both drivers get an EOL penalty. That's a defensive move by BJ Tidrick, just to say, hey, I'll take a tap. I don't think it was me, but I'll take it anyway, just in case it goes to the review board, which all wrecks go to the review board. If there was something there that perhaps he was wrong in that and he was at fault, even though he tapped out, he would be okay. So both drivers taking the tap on that.
Does that sound about right, BJ?
Nailed it.
Nailed it. Let's go back to you guys up in the tower. Thank you, BJ.
Thank you.
Yeah, we'll let BJ go back to the cockpit because Charles' lights are off on the pace car. Again, single file here on this one. Gary Smith still leading the way, has led about the last 50 or so laps in this one with Joey Bird in second.
Yeah, he has indeed. 51 laps to go when we take the green flag. We are past the halfway point, and green flag is back out once again. Smith, Bird, Gormley, Quinn, and Carroll going to be your top five. Still roughly the same top five we've seen here. Barnes, though, sitting there in the sixth position at number 8. He's still right there. I still think Travis Barnes is a favorite here, or someone I think is a favorite anyway, to possibly get this thing in the victory lane. From what I've seen with him, when he does race, he's fast.
3 wins on the season, but Chris Carroll throws a little bit of a block there on Travis Barnes. This is for 5th position. Carroll, the rookie, and Barnes giving up on the door there. They're side by side. This is for 5th, and Barnes a little bit of damage on the number 8 car as a result of that, taking a dive inside of Chris Carroll, who is the highest scored, or excuse me, second highest scored rookie, as Gary Smith is leading the way as rookie. Barnes able to clear him, so moved the 3-time winner last season up into the top 5. Behind him, Sean Breitzman in the number 46. And Wesley, we've been talking about it. Breitzman, a favorite just about every week in the Northwest Racing Cup Series and Truck Series. Only one career win here on the tour. It happened in the Season 2 at Richmond. So Breitzman in the number 46 coming through the field. And Wesley, that was one guy that you thought you were going to have to keep an eye on for sure.
Yeah, remember I grabbed a word with him right at the drop of the green flag the first 20 laps or so, and he was inside the top 20, and he told me he was going to play possum. He was going to do kind of what Jeff Stabnow's nickname is, play possum, and you know, just kind of way out, stay out of the way, and look right in front of him. Guards are looking to get in sideways again, so you know, I mean, this strategy's really working good. But then he said after halfway, 50 laps to go, I'm going to send it, and that's exactly what he's doing. And right now, he's in the top 10. He's in 7th position, and he said that it was around this time that he'd start going to the front.
Kind of funny you mentioned Jeff Stabnow there, Wesley, because Charles, I'm going to give you one guess. Who is on
Jeff
top
Stabnow's
of the
spotter.
box making the calls for Sean Breitzman tonight?
That would be none other than the possum himself, Jeff Stabnow, up there talking to Breitzman, telling him where to go, when to go there, don't do that. What are you thinking? Those are all probably things that have been said here tonight, minus we're adding a few choice words in there as well. We'll see, as we'll probably be talking to them down in the pits after this.
And guys, by the way, Stabnow's name is Pablo Skidabar for his undercover name.
I don't know where he came up with that.
Alias.
That is his alias, but I
alias
tracked him down. I tracked him down earlier. So he's the one who got me in touch with Sean Breitzman, and it's Pablo Skirdabar as his undercover name on the pit box, and also obviously high above the Speedway
and
virtually
we got a caution
doing
out
spotting.
on the track. Trying to figure out where it came from, Greg. Any ideas here is we got some drivers dropping down in the field.
It was deep in the field, so looking around. Nick Bellamy has been given an EOL penalty, so whatever it was, Nick Bellamy tapped. So let's pick up the number 20 car, as he has been given a penalty for the tap. So let's see what the number 20 is tapping out for. Oops, saw someone sideways there. So this is after the fact. May have been Travis McKinney in the 48, the Rockingham winner last year. Bellamy with a big run there off of turn number 4. Scott Mann battling there as well. Bellamy lurking.
And the 48 had a little wiggle there too.
McKinney. Yeah, just a little bit. It's down the backstretch into turn number 3.
And
yeah, just a little bit.
I think the 20 may, again, this is, I have to go back and watch it here from the blimp view, or drone view here at this track, and watch the 20. You said the 20 tapped out on this, correct?
Correct, yes. Nick Bellamy took the tap.
I think he may have taken a tap that he didn't need, but again, that's the better and safer way to do it than there. You'll see right here. Oh, no, I stand corrected. From one angle, it didn't look like he really touched him. From another angle, you can clearly see there was contact.
Yeah, we'll see if maybe Wesley Allen can go catch up with crew on the number 20 of Bellamy and catch up there and see if they have anything to say on that one as to make just a little bit more clarification on why he's tapping out there, because like you said, it looked from one angle that it may not have been, but the aerial camera definitely showing that he did get a big run in on Travis McKinney. We'll see if maybe Wesley can go down there and catch up with Nick Bellamy and get a little bit more insight on that one. Under caution here, just past halfway. While Wesley's down there, let's cut to a quick break and thank another one of our sponsors here. You're watching the Live Life Generic 125 on LSR TV, your home for sim racing. One to green here, and much like the previous caution where Tidrick took the tap just in case, Travis McKinney also taking a tap just in case. So a similar situation, 2 cautions in a row where both drivers tapping out. We had Nick Bellamy lined up for an interview, but we're coming to green flag. So Wesley, our Joe's Racing Pit reporter, a quick update on the 20.
Yeah, basically Bellamy said he's got a little bit of light damage, nothing serious, and he's got a really, really fast race car. But the problem is it's short track racing, and he can't get to past anybody. He's got to really rough people up, and that's what happened between him and the last car that he was telling me about. And of course, that was the end result. But the race rolls on, and we'll see what he can do. The race goes back to green with the 20. We'll see. Watch what he does as the race comes to lap 100.
Boy, both drivers tapping on that one, but man, Carlos, did you see what was going on there from 4th on to about 7th? Quinn and Travis Barnes shooting down to the inside there. Things getting settled down. Brightsman kind of stuck on the high side right now. Jeff Stabnow just waiting for his chance to clear him. Stabnow is going to compete in a couple of races, was not able to get the car ready for this one, so he's on the crew box of Sean Brightsman, so that's why Stabnow is on the pit box tonight. We will see Stabnow compete a couple of times, as well as West Jr., Devin West, and a couple of other drivers who we see on Mondays and Thursdays. Brightsman falls in front of Garrett Huffines in the number 42, who has also quietly worked his way up, Charles. He's going for the pass on Brightsman. This is for 8th. Huffines qualified in the 2nd spot. They get together. And this is going to bring out a caution.
That is indeed going to bring out a caution as we'll quickly get off board. And, well, we don't have to go and look to see who it was. We just got to catch them dropping through the list, as it's going to be Sean Brightsman in the 46, still in the wall. We'll take a quick look here at the swag replay and see exactly what happened. And there's definitely some rubbing going on. What do you think there, Greg? That's a tough one, Greg. Up, down, maybe just a bit of a racing deal.
Anderson and the one of Sisk also going around. Yeah, I'm thinking that's a racing deal as well. Now we're going to wait and see if anyone taps. Sean Brightsman has tapped in the number 46, again, just in case, in the number 46. Tapping. And Garrett Huffines also tapping, so they're both tapping out as well. Both of them in the same thing, just saying, hey, Just in case, I don't know if it was me or not. I'm just going to go ahead and tap on it just in case to be sure. So both drivers going down. That's going to end any penalties from there on, but it will go to review board just in case, as always. But with that, any further punishment will end there. Your lucky dog for this one is going to be Bart Hector Jr. into number 82, as he will get one of his 3 laps down. And Wesley has caught
and I
up
also
with
spoke with Pablo Skeetabar, a.k.a. Jeff Stabnow as well, and he said, man, I told you to hold off till around 100 in, 25 to go, and he pushed the loud pedal just a little too soon. Yeah, the car got into him. He'll admit that. Light damage, if you will, on the number 46 machine of Sean Brightsman. He'll take his punishment, go to the back, and I think they both waved on it, so he'll work on get a 6-second repair. He'll come back out on the racetrack, and he'll just try to go from shotgun on the field, kind of like what he did earlier, and it was around a 30-lap stretch or so. So he's still kind of got time, and he's still got a feeling that we haven't seen the big one yet that took out a lot of cars. But Brightsman should be all right.
Thank you very much, Wesley. And we talk about the big one, and Charles, we saw the big one not once but twice in that B main and a couple in the C main as well. So with 24 cars on track, that big one, yes, that is very much a possibility in this series.
Yeah, it is definitely a possibility. It was in the B main, and of course we do have the replays from those. And of course, we won't be putting out the whole replay, but again, as we mentioned, we have a new home on the web, and he doesn't really have a company per se, so I've got to give him a shout out. I know he's in chat because he posted something and retracted, so I don't know what he said bad about me, but I'm gonna find out. But Tim Burns, one of my teammates over at Beast Racing, literally in probably a week built us a killer website, livesimracingtv.com. Check it out. You can watch the race live there when we go live. You can contact us as well, and our very own Greg Rintz here doing write-ups. He'll be writing up the report or the recap from this race, from the B, the C, putting all that together so you will have an intense replay or recap there to read there. And of course, we'll throw some pictures in there for those people just like the picture books as well. So a lot of great things going on here for LSR TV, that being one of them. You actually can read up about the races you didn't get to see leading up to the main event.
And how'd you know that I'm one of those ones who likes the books with pictures on it there, Charles, as we get set to go? It's Canada's Gary Smith leading the way in this one, and he has led most of the race thus far. But Joey Bird getting there. Ooh, some contact back there for third between Gormley and Shane Quinn, and that's going to bottleneck field, and we're going to go caution immediately, as I think this was an accordion effect of what happened up at the front. Josh Robinson facing the wrong way on the wrong way on the one way. Here we're going to take a look at the swag reap and see what put us under this rendition of the swag yellow flag.
Yeah, you can tell it happened because of being under caution, as why not? Let's go look from this point of view right here. We rarely go on board. We haven't so far, and right there, I believe he may have had a little contact from behind. So let's do this real quick, as we're already watching him. Let's switch it up a little bit and go to this view as we go on board with Robinson.
That's Scott Mann behind him in the number 90. Winner of the Development League race here on Friday with the Street Stocks. We haven't gotten to talk about that. We'll talk a little bit about that after the replay here. Yep, some contact right there. Caden Anderson getting in the man a little bit there as well as a result of the checkup. No fault of the 37. But that was definitely some contact there, and Wesley has up with the crew on the 47.
Yeah, just went down there and kind of had a little powwow talking with the team on Josh Robinson's number 47. And again, another racing deal. Got a little punt in the pants there and got turned around. Not of his doing. Doesn't look like it's that badly severe. He might come down and get checked out. But for right now, they're actually telling him to stay on the racetrack because it really is not that badly damaged. So he'll stay on the racetrack and try to see what he can do here. And gentlemen, we're down to the home stretch. We're at 20 laps to go. I think the rev limiter is going to get pushed up to the chip. We're going to see some crazy racing here this final 20 laps. What a fun time here being your Joe's Racing Products pit reporter for my first iRacing Northwest Tour event. Charles and Greg, this is really, really exciting. I had a feeling I'm going to be a pit reporter, but I ain't going to have nothing to talk about. Yeah, whatever.
Oh, we told you before, Wesley, that you would have plenty to talk about here in the iRacing.com Northwest Tour, brought to you by Joe's Racing Products. By the way, Scott Mann did tap out on that one, so he will fall to the back. Want to talk a little bit, Charles, about the Development League that we were talking about a moment ago. It was started up by Daryl Tidrick, Eric Cheney, and actually myself. We've been bouncing an idea around throughout this entire, we'll call it the summer of iRacing, in which our team, Northwest Thunder, was on iRacing dang near every single night. We were bouncing ideas for what can we do to try to help these drivers, especially a huge amount of rookies that we have. What can we do to help them get some seat time here in the tracks that we're going to go to? So we kicked it around. We talked to Seth Frazier and BJ Tidrick, the admins of this one. We started a development league, which runs on Friday night before the super late model races. Unfortunately, it's not going to be streamed here on LSR TV because we've got our own super late model and legend series coming on Friday night. It's the American iRacing League coming on Friday nights. But we started off, it's a combination. We got some street stocks we're going to do. We're going to run some legends, some limited late models, and we are going to run 75-lap main events at the track that we're racing with on Sundays. Top 14 in points, top 12 in points, excuse me, not eligible to compete in that in the B or the main series, the A series, the tour, which you're watching right now. And anyone with 2 wins on a season is not eligible for the next season of the B League, the Development League. So this is aimed towards getting guys more seat time. I myself actually competed in the race on Friday night, finished 14th in that 26-car field for the street stocks that Scott Mann got the win in. So we got plenty more racing. Who knows? Maybe if I get a chance, I'll talk a little bit about it on the new website, livesimracingtv.com.
Definitely, we've been looking forward to seeing that on there as the green flag comes back out once again. Smith has been out front. It has really been the same top 4. I would say Smith, Bird, Gormley, and Quinn have been up there. Carroll's been there, Garber's been there, but now Barnes, who I talked about, Travis Barnes, I really think he's got something for this race for the win. He's been, slowly making his way up there, but he's made it into the top 5 as he is currently sitting in 5th, and he's given that 4 of Quinn a run for his money right now.
Oh, he definitely is knocking on the door of Shane Quinn. By the way, Scott Mann has loaded it up in the trailer, just the second car out of the race in that number 90. And actually, he's the only car out of the race. Is Isaiah Gill, 8 laps down, is still chugging along. He's being scored 24th. Bart Ector Jr. just 1 lap down in the number 82, so he will be on the lead lap at the next caution. 24 cars took the green flag here, Charles. We're working lap 105, coming to 20 laps to go. 23 of 24 still on the track as Barnes is now all of a sudden under pressure from Chris Carroll. This is for 5th.
Yeah, and they made a little contact just a second ago. They both went down the track just a little bit. The nose of one car coming across the rear end of another, but they managed to keep it going in the right direction. As the next time by 20 laps to go here in this 125 lap event, and it has been an amazing, this race was hyped up to be a great race, a lot of cars. I often say leagues hype stuff up and it doesn't really deliver to it, or it's good but it's not great. This is when an amazing race, a great race. Glad to have the iRacing Northwest Tour here on LSR TV.
Yeah, we are definitely happy to be here on LSR TV. And now, Wesley, down on pit road, there's a little under 20 to go. Now you know why every single time me and you are in the booth, I talk about this series. I'm so excited about this series. Now you know why.
Hey, and I tell you what, I love being the Joe's Racing Products pit reporter for not only the Northwest Tour here on LSR TV and CRN Sports, but also coming up, the next crown jewel, the big one coming up in December 2nd through the 6th, the 53rd running of the Snowball Derby. And I got to say, man, thank you to the viewers. We have so many big numbers. I have to say that this has got to be probably one of the greatest nights in the history of the LSR TV broadcast. People listening on CRN as well. And And man, this iRacing Northwest Tour presented by Jersey Racing Products is phenomenal. I think this is just only the start of things to come. We got an awesome schedule. We're even going to have our own virtual Snowball Derby on the week of the Snowball Derby. That's Sunday night. So, yeah, man, this is a good one. 16 to go. Smith has done a phenomenal job. It's been a great race story. Thank you to all of the viewers, man. I'm telling you, so many great numbers. Charles, I'll throw it back to you, buddy, in the tower. Just unbelievable. I'm looking at the numbers. I'm looking at the comments. A lot of positive virtual energy here with this series.
Yeah, absolutely amazing. Again, and I said it earlier, Greg, other than a major big paying event that is at least 1,000 to win or more, this is by far the most amount of viewers and fans we've had out there. Upwards of 78 is what I saw. Awesome if we could get up to 100, but 78 people watching this is what I saw at peak, and that may have been a little higher for just a season opener of a regular race. Nothing on the line but some points and possibly some money on the line there. I heard about a good interview, so we'll see. But Smith and Bird, definitely it has been their race here tonight. Them two have been up front, swapping it back and forth just a handful of times, but they've been up front leading this race.
By the way, if you like old school short track racing, you're going to love next Sunday night, same time, same channel, because stars of the iRacing Northwest Tour are headed to North Wilkesboro next Sunday night here on LSR TV, your home for sim racing. North Wilkesboro next up for this series, as we are coming to 11 laps to go. Gary Smith has led far and away the most laps, but he's got the Spokane Valley native Joey Bird knocking on the door in that number 24. He wants it. Joey Bird and Gary Smith, two drivers looking for their first career victories in the series. And Charles, Joey Bird is taking some shots now.
Yeah, he is definitely taking some shots. I thought I saw some exciting racing last night with the real-life racing I was at, where we watched a sprint car race, the engine expiring. He almost held on to get to the win. This race tops that. I'm sorry. Maybe. It won't. Real racing always tops it. But this is just amazing racing, and I think Bird still has something left in the reserves for Smith. Smith is good, so is Bird. The question is, who's going to be the victor and the better driver here tonight?
And if something happens between them, Shane Quinn is still back there, 1.2 back. Still in the position to try to strike if something is to happen between Smith and Bird. Bird kind of hanging right in the tire tracks right now. A nice run through turn 2 there. We're inside of 10 laps to go. Gary Smith has led since lap number 18 here, Charles. Oh, but he pushed up the track a little bit, and here comes Joey Bird off of turn number 4. Can Birdman get around Gary Smith? Or can the driver from north of the border, the only driver from Canada in the field here tonight for this one, actually, excuse me, 2 drivers. Did not realize Chris Carroll was from there as well. To have any drivers come join us in the real world this year, so it's fun to have a couple joining us here on iRacing, and one of them leading the way here, Gary Smith, coming to 5 laps to go this time by. Can he hold off Joey Bird? That's going to help him, as Bird has to check up a little bit.
Yeah, and you're watching this. I wanted this angle for a reason. You see him right here, and look at the run he gets. He gets right up to his back bumper, but we've mentioned it earlier on in the race, and we're mentioning now 6 laps to go, coming up to 5 next time by. Right there is getting a run and getting the pass done. Those are 2 totally different things, and it is very difficult to be able to make a pass, especially at a track like USA.
And we've heard Dylan Huffines talking about it earlier, single file racing. He wasn't a fan of it, and this is why, as he is backing it down in that number 7. Meanwhile, up front, Gary Smith pulling away a little bit now from Joey Bird in the number 24, and inside of 5 laps to go, going to be 3 at the line. Smith has opened it up just a hair, Wesley.
Yeah, the laps are winding down, and guess what? We got a caution. Back to you guys.
Caution
we have
is
a
out.
caution on the track. It may be Travis Barnes in the 8.
And, I feel a little bad now. I picked him. I didn't say he was going to win, so I'm not that guilty of it. But I said he had a good shot here. I think he could give them a run for their money. And unfortunately, it looks like he may be taking it to the back and just smack the outside wall. And collects the 97 as well of Chris Carroll. Carroll able to keep going, though.
Travis Barnes tap on that one. He will take the EOL and fall to the back. Unfortunate. That's a heartbreaker for Chris Carroll, too, because now he's got some significant damage. Caden Anderson, how about the 37 car, guys? He has fought his way back into the top 5 here in this one. After all those incidents, all that damage, has fought his way back into the top 5. Unbelievable effort here from Caden Anderson. By the way, boys, we only have one attempt at a green-white checkered. It's coming up now.
And, that makes me wonder, you hear green-white checkered, we're going into it. There's no question about it. One attempt at it, 2 or 3, I expect them to be a little cautious, maybe trying to make something. You have one attempt to get into a podium finish because, their favorite thing to do is talk to us. So, you have one attempt here to get into a top 3 to talk to us. How aggressive are you going to be to get to the front? And the question is that aggressiveness going to come from the front to get a top 3, top 5, or are we going to see it in the back where these guys trying to maybe squeak in a top 10?
And here's another question. These drivers are on the same tires that they started. Who has anything left in those tires? Who has saved just enough anticipating this moment right here, a green-white checkered? The guys like Shane Quinn, Ryan Gormley. I think it's a safe bet Caden Anderson doesn't have much life left in his tires as he has been charging through the field in the number 37. But the guys like Quinn and Gormley, even Bird, have they saved enough to be able to get up there with Gary Smith?
Yeah, and you talk about that with Gary Smith as well in that 79 machine as well as the 24, especially the 79. He has not had a chance. You get into some of these cookie cutter tracks, as I like to refer to them, where you can kind of coast it. You're not really too worried of someone getting you. He has had just a relentless hounding from Joey Bird in that 24 machine, pushing him as hard as he could go. He has not been able to slack off and relax those tires and save anything. He has had to push it 24/7 in this entire race. So his tires are probably pretty worn out too. You look maybe at Shane Quinn in the 4. Does he have a good shot to try to capitalize that, as he really hasn't been up there pushing it as hard as these guys possibly?
Quinn, remember, has 3 wins on the tour. They all came last year, including what Wesley talked about, that Snowball Derby for the Northwest Series. Gary Smith and Joey Bird both looking for their first career victory. And for Smith, it's his debut in the series. He's never even competed in the tour before tonight. He could become 1 for 1 in the series if he can hold on for just 2 more laps here, Charles. They're coming to the green for the final time.
Yeah. We're coming in, of course, wrapping this up, hitting all kinds of records here tonight. And we're going to go all the way into overtime. We're on lap right now 127. The scheduled distance looks like it's going to be 129 as the green flag comes back out one more time. Again, this is the final time this green flag will come out tonight. And the field kind of separating there for after about 6th place. And that'll do
this
it.
Race is over. This race is over as the caution comes out. Gary Smith has his first career Northwest Tour victory. Casey Garber involved in the number 96. Take a look at the swag replay of what happened on this one. Back there with Paul Ross and Dylan Huffines.
And yeah, just broke loose on him in there in the 85. I really figured, I was going to come back here. We were going to see somebody being aggressive, but that was not the case. As we'll take one more look at this here. And again, you're watching I believe it's the 85 just in front of the 96. Unfortunately, Casey Garber just getting caught up in a mess that wasn't his own. And right here, maybe kind of holding back a little bit, trying to make a run. And that run did not help. He gets loose. And there you see the 96 get into him.
Yeah, we are checkered flag in this one.
Well, that is going to do it.
Yeah, the number 72 of Gary Smith is your race winner here tonight. His first career win in his first career start. But Charles, I'm looking at this. There's going to be a little bit of controversy here. Some of the field came to stop before they crossed the line. So we're going to have to sort out our finishing order here because a couple of drivers got past before they took the checkered flag. And for instance, Shane Quinn got around Joey Bird in the 24. They were under caution. The field was frozen, but iRacing recognizing Quinn in second, but Quinn is going to pull into third. So we're going to have to sort out this finishing order right now. Gary Smith is your winner. Joey Bird will be second as your top three parks it here on the front stretch, as we will run down the unofficial race results here on LSR TV. And Charles, that's why they call it unofficial, because you got stuff like that come into play.
Yeah, and of course, these will be a little skewed for you as your top 10, somewhat in this order anyway, going to be Gary Smith, Shane Quinn. Those are actually going to be flip-flop for Joey Bird and Shane Quinn, the 4 in third and the 24 in a second. Ryan Gormley, Dylan Huffines having a fairly good night here tonight. Garrett Sisk, Caden Anderson, BJ Tidrick, both of them having decent nights in the top 10 as well. Seth Frazier also a ninth place finish, and Travis McKinney, 4 drivers I'm very well familiar with here, Greg, finishing in the top 10.
That's your top 10. 11th going to Chris Carroll in the number 97. He was up in the 5 pretty much all day long here. Ellie Musgrave, the female driver, fights back to finish 12th. Sean Brightsman, 13th. Christopher Heim, 14th. Garrett Huffines, 15th. Ryan Worley, Travis Barnes. Bart Ecker Jr. gets back on the lead lap to finish 18th. Final car on the lead lap was Paul Ross in the number 85. Nick Bellamy, 1 lap down in 20th. Rounding out the field for this one, Casey Garber caught up in that incident. Isaiah Gill, 8 laps down after struggles early. Josh Robinson and Scott Mann, the 2 drivers that did not finish the race.
And unfortunate for those couple of drivers that didn't finish it. As we mentioned a little bit earlier, it was more day out. The sun is set. We didn't go through our weather here, but track temp 92 degrees as the sun is setting here as we conclude this race. The lights are flashing for our race winner of Gary Smith. Everybody wanting to get a picture to celebrate his first win. And of course, we'll be talking to those here in just a minute.
Yeah, post-race show brought to you by Clan Wars on deck here. Gary Smith picks up the first career win. We'll talk to your top 3 here after this word from our sponsors. You're watching the Live Life Generic 125 on LSR TV, your home for sim racing and CRN Sports.
Is this your car? You could take me for a ride any day. Hey, you take me for a stroll anytime. I can see you with me.
Clan Wars post-race show brought to you by Gamers Hosting Gamers Worldwide. Clan Wars, the official sponsor of the post-race show here on LSR TV, your home for sim racing. It was definitely an entertaining one here at USA International Speedway, living up to the hype here for the season opener for the Live Life Generic 125, brought to you by Joe's Racing Products and the iRacing Northwest Tour. And we have caught up with our top 3, and Charles Wooten is going to interview the guy who came home with the 3rd place tonight. He's caught up with Shane Quinn.
And I believe we may have lost Wesley here.
You said Charles. That's why I didn't say anything. 3rd place, I believe, is Joey Bird. Am I correct? Joey Bird, 3rd?
Shane Quinn came home in 3rd.
3rd place, got you, buddy. Sorry, we had a little bit miscommunication there, man. 3rd place in the race, driver the number 24 entry. Man, on the podium, a pretty interesting race here at USA International to open up the iRacing Northwest Tour. What's your take on it being 3rd tonight?
I finished 3rd, the 4-car.
My apologies. Okay, I'm sorry. Timing and scoring. Yeah, timing and scoring is showing Joey Bird 3rd, but my bad. Well, let's start this over again. We'll hit the rewind button. Shane Quinn, the number 4 machine, will finish in the number 3 position. And pretty much the same question that I asked Joey, I'll ask you, Shane. Pretty wild race here. You end up on the podium in 3rd tonight.
Yeah, it was really, really tough to pass. It was pretty much tough for everybody, right? So, a lot of fast cars finished in the back. It was just tough to get through the field, I'm sure. I was on the outside. I was in 2nd, got shuffled back to 4th, and then I managed to get around Ryan. He's a super clean racer, so he didn't throw a big block on me, but. Yeah, I respect the hell out of that, and came home with 3rd.
So my question is this: do you think that the series should look at maybe having more than one shot at a green-white check, or do you feel if there was another opportunity for, let's say, 3 attempts, that maybe it could have changed and you could be up in victory lane right now?
You know, I'd be really open for the series to have. Yeah, it's not up to me by any means, but. In my opinion, I wish we had way longer races.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I like the long ones personally. I feel like I do better on a long run. But I can imagine where at home watching it, it's a little boring. But I love the long races, and another green white. Yeah, that'd be probably pretty exciting to watch. It's nerve-wracking in the car, but. Yeah.
Well, it's on to North Wilkesboro next week, buddy. Real quickly in that segue, your thoughts on that, as well as thank your sponsors. 3rd place tonight.
North Wilkesboro, it's gonna be that's gonna be a tight one. I actually haven't done a lot of laps there, but I've done a few laps, and I think there's probably gonna be some really good racing. Really good racing. It's an old track, right? So old ass. It's probably gonna be real slick. I don't know. I'll have to get on the track and figure it out. But I would like to thank Mike Wood for he's sponsoring my cars. He's doing all the paint jobs and making them look real good. I told him before the race, give me the Mike Wood Special, and it's a pretty cool car. I like it a lot. I have another one I'm gonna whip out for 5 Flags. So. I want to thank my fiance. She puts up with me while I do this all the time, and I want to thank all my friends I do this with. The whole group of State Line guys. There's another group of State Line guys over in a garage somewhere watching this. It's pretty fun to talk about amongst the friends.
Well, one thing for certain, they're missing out on it. Thank you very much. Again, 3rd place. That is, again, the driver of Shane Quinn. All right, Greg, back up to you as you have caught up with the second place man. Finally, Joey Bird. We got him in 24.
Yeah, I believe Charles is down there with Bird. Charles?
I am indeed. Joey Bird, you had an amazing run here. It was a tough race for sure. 125 laps. You put up a good fight, and when I think of Joey Bird, the first thing that came to my mind is telling my age here is Larry Bird, one of the greats. You're up here just duking it out. Came up a little bit short there, but what do you think you needed in this car to be able to get up there and really give those two a run for their money?
The passing was a little bit, seemed like you could roll in on somebody pretty good and roll to the middle, but if their middle was slowed down too much, going to the gas and just trying not to run over them and get off the corner was just a bit tough. I just probably needed a couple more goes at it. The restarts were pretty inconsistent. It seemed like we'd slam on the brakes and slam on the gas, but all in all, it was a good race. I had fun. It was only my third race I've ever done here, so on this tour, so it was fun. I had a great time.
Well, for the third race on the tour, definitely did an amazing job coming in here to USA International Speedway. One final question here before we let you thank your sponsors. Tires. You had to conserve them. No tires were allowed to be taken throughout this 125 lap race. How was that car handling? And, I like the idea of not taking tires, but do you think a fresh set of tires may have helped any at all here tonight?
Honestly, it probably would have made the top three racing a little bit more fun, but it would have just grouped everybody back up, and I think it would have just caused more havoc than anything. I liked the long run on the no tires. It was kind of nice that I didn't have to pit to take tires because I couldn't even uncheck my tires to come in the pits, so I would have ended up taking tires if I would have got damaged. But all in all, I just had a good time. I like the long races. It just got a little tight there, and like I said, but it was fun.
Well, definitely a fun race. Any sponsors in that car you need to thank for getting you the top three here tonight?
No, I don't got any sponsors, but just want to thank my girlfriend Nicole for letting me play endless hours of iRacing while she watches our son. I know she's probably bored upstairs, so we can get off here and go spend some time with them.
There you have it, to your second place finisher, Joey Bird, in that number 24 machine. And we will send it up to Greg, who was caught up with our race winner on his first race win, the 79 of Gary Smith.
And Gary Smith, drivers from north of the border in Canada did not get to come down to the States this year for the racing in the Northwest, but that's not a problem here on the iRacing server. You're one of two drivers from north of the border in the A main event tonight, and you just picked up a win in your debut. Nice run out there.
Yeah, thank you very much. Yeah, I think it surprised me more than everybody else that I got that win there. Where I qualified, I certainly didn't think I was going to be able to hold everybody off and get that win.
And tell us a little bit first about what goes through your mind in that invert. When you qualify right around the 16th position, all of a sudden you find yourself starting up near the front, and you're like, oh boy, I got some fast guys behind me. But you looked like you were able to get that out of your head and just go for it from there.
Yeah, absolutely. You just got to put it out of your head. I contemplated taking an ELL and starting at the back and just trying to survive, but I'm glad I didn't. Like I say, I only had to pass that one guy there, I think about lap 15 or 20, and then I just tried to conserve my stuff. I really got pushed a little harder than I wanted to go early in that race.
You led 112 of the overall 129 laps here tonight. Far and away the most, and not too bad of a debut here at USA International. But next week we head to a historic venue here in the world of racing. We head to North Wilkesboro. Are you excited to head and turn some laps at the famous 6/10 mile oval?
Yeah, for sure. I'm kind of old, so that old racetrack might fit my driving style, maybe. I used to run the Northwest Tour Series back in the 90s, so it's been a long time since I ran a Northwest Tour race, so I'm just looking forward to this season.
Well, he's back in virtual realms of the Northwest here for season number 4, picking up the win in the Live Life Generic 125. And Gary, I know it's been a long time since you've gotten to do this. Thank your sponsors.
Yeah, for sure. VRX simulators has helped me out tremendously. Fireside Heating and Solutions, a big help to me in my real race cars. So I'll thank him and all the sponsors on this Northwest Tour too. It's a great series here. It looks like I'm being a rookie here, but it just a lot of them sponsors stepped up and make this into a really good series. It looks like.
Your winner of the Live Life Generic 125 USA International, Gary Smith. Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
All right, well, that is your top 3 final thoughts here from USA International. Wesley, we'll start with you. This was your first taste of the iRacing.com Northwest Tour, brought to you by Joe's Racing Products. You had the best seat in the house down on pit road. You were a busy man down there. What did you think of tonight's race?
I got to be honest with you. I felt like I was already getting prepared for the Snowball Derby coming up in December as the real Joe's Racing Products pit reporter. Man, a crazy event. A lot of carnage, a lot of crazy racing. Short track racing, that's the style. Sometimes you got to give somebody the bumper, move them out of the way. Got to fight for those spots. And when it comes down to the end, all bets are off. There are no friends. We saw that. Congratulations to, again, the driver Smith getting it done. Gary Smith. Good to see him come out of his retirement, even if it's virtual, put himself in victory lane. Also, good jobs by Bird and Quinn finishing in the top 3 on the podium. We'll pack her up. We'll get ready for North Wilkesboro Speedway. I think I'll be able to make it here next Sunday night because it'll be late and I'll be done with the National 100. But, man, it should be an exciting time. And as always, it's fun working with you and Charles. And tomorrow night, we go back to action with the Ezra Cup Series and round 2 of the playoffs at Watkins Glen for the Northwest iRacing Cup Series. Should be a good one, Greg. Great job, bud, and we'll see you everybody next week.
Well, I'll see you tomorrow at the Ezra Pro Series here on LSR TV. Charles, going to turn it to you, and I already know your thoughts on North Wilkesboro, the track, as this was one of your most anticipated tracks on iRacing when it was coming out. But I'm going to ask you what you're expecting this series when we head to the foothills of North Carolina next week.
You know, I always thought North Wilkesboro was the coolest track ever. I wanted to see stuff go there. Now I don't care about the track as much. I just want to see this series on that track. You know, the track was cool, but if we can have as many cars as we did this week, 60-plus drivers trying to get into North Wilkesboro, that alone is going to be mind-boggling. So the track's fun, but this series on that track, I think, is going to be one to remember.
And I'm looking forward to it as well. Gotten the chance to call a couple cup races and a truck race and even an ARCA race at North Wilkesboro, but so excited to be able to bring you the Joe's iRacing Products Northwest Tour here on iRacing next week at North Wilkesboro here on LSR TV, the new home of the Northwest Tour. Thank you everyone for tuning in tonight. We had an all-time record viewers for LSR TV for a non-money race or a dirt race, like you mentioned. All-time record car count, and we hope it continues. And we hope you'll join us along the ride next week at North Wilkesboro, live here on LSR TV, same time as tonight from the virtual North Wilkesboro Speedway. For Wesley Outland, Charles Wooten, I'm Greg Rentz. Thank you so much for tuning in tonight. We'll see you next week at North Wilkesboro.
This broadcast is the copyrighted work of LSR TV and may not be rebroadcast, retranslated, or used in any form without the express written consent of 52 Media LLC and iRacing.com Motorsports Simulations. LSR TV would like to thank you for your support, and we hope you enjoyed tonight's broadcast.